So let me tell you how much I love this t-shirt bib. It wraps around the baby. It wraps around the back of the high chair and creates a little pocket on the front that catches all the food before it falls down. And it's so easy to make. I was about to buy an Amazon product like this one, and I thought to myself, let me see if I can DIY something like this first, just to see if it works out, and then I'll buy it. But I'm so happy with the way this t-shirt one works that I'm sewing a bunch of them. I love that I can just throw it in the wash. I just shake it off in the sink, throw it in the wash after each meal, or if it hasn't been that messy, you know, it can even go 2 meals. And I don't have to worry about it molding, because some of those other bibs, they had reviews where they molded and stuff. I don't have to worry about this, and it can be sewn in like 5 minutes. So there's just 3 things to this. You open up the back of a large t-shirt, cut a wedge, sew velcro or clips or what have you. Measure your baby's arm, okay? And you're gonna thread elastic in here to the size of your baby's arm. And this can be no sew. You can even knot the elastic if you don't have a sewing machine, or hand sew it. You don't need a sewing machine for this. You can do it with a little bit of hand sewing. And then the last bit is on the bottom of the t-shirt, you're going to fit this over the front of the tray and kind of stretch it a little bit so that it's really taut on the front of the tray, and then measure with the elastic to see how much you need. If you have an IKEA high chair, then you're in luck, because I'll provide the measurements needed for the IKEA high chair, which is what I have. If you have another one, then just do your own measurements, but that's it. So let me show you how to make this. Start with a large t-shirt so that it's big enough to go over the front and back of the high chair. Match up the side seams. First, we are going to cut out this V in the back. So I went ahead and cut out about 7 inches from the back. I measured the circumference of my baby's neck, and I measured the neckband here, and I only need about 12 inches of this to attach the Velcro. So I have this and this right here. Now this is going to go around baby's neck. You want the soft Velcro to be on this, so that way in case it hits the baby's neck, it's not going to irritate it. So go ahead, clip that. This is going to be one of the few pieces of sewing that you're doing, is putting on the Velcro. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can of course hand sew this, or you could choose to do snaps, plastic snaps, or you could even do poke a hole there and hand sew a button on and do it that way. Okay, so I've got that clipped for sewing later on. I went ahead and wrapped this around my baby's upper arm. Their circumference was 6.5. I'm going to add another half just for comfort, and then add another inch for overlap. And again, I will be overlapping the edges of the elastic and sewing them together. If you can do this with the machine, hand sewing, or you can cut it like 2 inches more, and you can choose to knot the ends. So cut holes in each side of the t-shirt fabric. It won't fray since it is t-shirt fabric. I have this elastic threader. If you don't have one of these, you can go ahead and use a safety pin. Go ahead, thread, 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 thread. All the way through. You don't want to lose your elastic inside that hole. That's really annoying when that happens. So just be mindful of it. Hold on to it towards the end right here, or pin it to the fabric. There we go. Now overlap, clip, and sew. If you don't want to sew, you don't have a sewing machine, you don't like hand sewing, just cut your elastic longer and go ahead and double knot, double knot. So this t-shirt will be going over the whole high chair. So it's going to keep the back clean, the sides clean, and be secured right here. So stretch it out and mark the front of the shirt, stretch it here, and mark it where it hits this and this, the sides of the tray, right here. Then take some elastic and stretch it underneath this part of the chair. You're gonna sew this to the shirt, and that's gonna keep this from sliding back. It will keep it in place. Now you could just measure it, but elastic can have different stretchinesses depending on the thickness and even the way that it was braided. So go ahead and stretch it out, pinch it with your fingers, mark here and here so you know that is where you want to sew it to the marks that you made here at the front of your shirt. I've marked here 7 inches, 14 inches. Center front. I've cut 15.5 inches of elastic, and I'll go ahead and clip them at the marks, a 1/2 inch overlapping, and I do it facing in and facing in this way so that after I sew it, it's going to be at the mark right there, and that it's going to loop like this. First up, sewing the bottom elastic on. Back and forth, back and forth. Nothing fancy. Just tacking it on there. These are going to have food all over them. This is not super careful couture sewing here. Just want to tack it. I'm just kind of wiggling it back and forth, doing a bunch of zigzag, 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 front, back, and you can see kind of what I did right there over that 1/2 inch that I gave myself. So that's not going anywhere there on the bottom. Now I have to sew these little guys. Pull it as much as you can so that it's easier. This is a little bit fussier. I'm going to go to a zigzag stitch so that it's easier. Put the presser foot down and zigzag, back stitch, zigzag, back stitch, and that's it. Go like this, and it should go inside the little hole. Okay. And from the outside you can't see it. pull. Take the tip out. Pull it through it. Keep the needle in, raise the presser foot, pivot, presser foot down, needle in, foot up, foot down, needle in, foot up, down, back tack at the end, cut, and there we go. Little square sewn. Make sure that it's sewn Velcro, because that sticky Velcro will gum up your needle. And you can clean it off with alcohol, but it's just not worth it. Back tack. Cut. The table's shaking because my baby's underneath it right now. Okay, that is it. Clip off your things and you are literally ready to go. So, put your baby in. Snap them in. Snap them in. Snap, snap, snap. Get your DIY t-shirt. Woo! Yeah! First, you're gonna put it, I like to put it in her arms first because that's the part that she dislikes most. Over. I know there's no food. Where's the food? You're so hungry. Loop it over the back. Loop it over the back. Now, with this right here, go ahead, loop it over the front. Get the sides, get the sides. And Velcro it around her neck. She's gonna try that. Put it here. So this is actually a little bit too loose. Since it is open right here, I might later take this and tack it to make it a little bit tighter. But it's good enough. Now it's time for her to eat.